Well, good evening, friends, and a very, very warm welcome to each and every one of you to this investor education program, which we are doing in this new year, 2021. In fact, I should wish each and every one of you all first a very happy and a prosperous new year. In Actually, if you go to see, 2020 was a year of uncertainties. We didn't know what exactly was happening. On one side, we had the pandemic happening, many deaths happening due to COVID-19, lot of restrictions because of the lockdown, lot of less movement, I should say, during the lockdown. And suddenly on one side, we noticed that economy suddenly fell down and the stock markets really dropped. It crashed exactly. like Sensex coming down to 26,000. And we had predicted, we had tried to think that yes, it will take a long time for this market to recover. Like the predictions were that this time it would be like a U-shaped curve rather than a V-shaped curve. But unfortunately, things were totally different, and the markets recovered very, very fast. And it recovered not only how much we wanted, it's actually recovered much more than what actually we expected. And the way the markets have started doing, the way the investments have started growing, many people have taken a lot of advantages out of these opportunities that we got in this financial markets during the year 2020. And the best thing that happened for Navemarg Foundation is that luckily we were totally digital. We remained connected with all our clients. We had the interactions on Zoom as well as on Google Meets. We did a lot of client surveys as well as a lot of client seminars. In fact, on our YouTube channel, as on today, we have more than 72 videos uploaded, means 72 done in just 9 months, which means these are the type of videos and the connectivity that we had with our clients during this 2020. And of course, our client base has definitely doubled within this last year. We thought that because of lockdown, we might have less number of new clients joining in, but it is just the opposite. Because of lockdown and because of the digitalization, we managed to acquire many, many new clients through our seminars, and we have been able to do a lot of sessions. Now, coming to today's session, this is actually the third session in this new year for us, because actually we have done one on Wednesday, then we did one on Thursday, and today one on Friday. Now, again, tomorrow we have another one at 6 o'clock. So it's like almost on a daily basis, there are workshops happening on our YouTube channel. And the connectivity now has become quite a huge, because instead of doing like locally only in Goa, now we're getting connected all over the world. So thanks to digitalization, and I should say like thanks to the lockdown, because lockdown has taught us a lot of lessons. And now the biggest difficulty or the biggest threat that we have is as far as our child's education is concerned, because now most of the colleges have gone online. They have reduced the portion. Even now we are going into the national education, new education policy, which is started now. So the curriculum is all changing. So definitely the prices also, the fees have started increasing. And we have seen the fee structure as far as schools and colleges are concerned has almost doubled, you can say, from the last 2 years itself. And a national survey which we had done recently, since I had read it on Google, a national survey as far as the Indian education system is concerned, there are more than, I should say, 4 crore students who are completing their graduation but are not able to do their post-graduation because of financial crisis. So they are not able to pursue their passion because of financial crisis. And this is lack of actually understanding about the finances for the parents. So today's session, we have a very good speaker who is an author of the book, Power Your Child's Financial Future. This book, I have read it myself, and looking at the topics and the titles that he has put in this book, I felt it was definitely a big opportunity for me to invite him to our forum and share with our clients as far as how to plan for your child's financial education. Deepesh Mehta is basically hailing from Bangalore. He has got 14 years of experience in the financial markets. He's a certified financial planner and a very good orator, because he has done a lot of investor education programs all across, especially in Bangalore, as well as national forums. In fact, I must say I was very lucky to share the days with him for one of the national forums organized by the volatility coaches, because being an author also makes a big impact as far as your knowledge is concerned. Definitely what I feel is the definition of author is basically someone who has authority on his subject. Authority and author are related to each other. So automatically it's like basically now regarding your child's future, when someone has written a book on it, definitely he'll be very knowledgeable. And we are very eager to listen to your experience as well as your sharing of ideas, which I'm 100% sure will definitely make a big impact as far as our clients here in Goa are concerned, as well as the ones who are watching it from the other parts of the country. And I'm sure there are many of our colleagues also in this, because we have given invitation to our forums on the financial fraternity forum. So we'll be having a lot of them watching this video in the future. So I wish that each and every one of you pay attention. And even if you get one idea from this presentation, I'm 100% sure your 2021 will be a greater year. So I hand over the mic and the stage to Mr. Deepesh Mehta, and for happy listening, and just try to note down the points, whatever you learn, because if you can share your learnings later on our WhatsApp group, we have special prizes for our clients who share their learnings, because every learning has made a big difference. Because whatever the client shared, then we put it up on the group, so the ones who have missed it get a chance to learn something different. And we have been doing this contest regularly from the last 3 weeks, and we are getting very good responses. So whoever shares the best learnings, you can even put your questions on the comment box on this, because we are live on the YouTube. So as of now, there are 18 people who are live already joined. So you can put up your questions on the comment box, and at the end of the presentation, I will share these questions to Deepesh sir, and he'll be answering all your questions. So please use the comment box for your question and answers. So over to you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Celso. Am I audible?
Very clear.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So good evening. Welcome all. My name is Deepesh Mehta. So today I'll be sharing my experiences on how to plan for your child's education. The topic looks very simple, but in fact, when we do a deep diving, we would be learning a lot of things which we didn't know all these days. So I'll tell you how did I, come up with this idea of writing a book. So in my career, I have written more than in my career I have conducted more than 200 webinars and sessions. And after the webinar, the common question that people used to get up and ask was, all this is fine. My child is 6 years old. How do I secure his future? My daughter is about 8 years old. How could I secure her future? So this was the common concern across many people, and hence I decided that I should put all this in the form of a book, and I decided to write a book which is titled as Power Your Child's Financial Future. Now, the content for today is derived from that book, and I'll be taking you through a small PPT which will explain you what are the contents that I have written in this book. So, the content of the session are, what are the challenges that parents face while investing for child's education, common mistakes that parents make while investing, smart tips every parent should know, and what are the steps to kickstart your child's future and maintain a momentum, and then the final summary of all those things which we cover. Okay, let's get off. So common questions that you all must be having: where can I as invest as a parent for my child's education? What are the most beneficial ways to invest for my child? What are the current costs, and based on this, what could be the approximate future cost? So today we'll also be doing an exercise on how to on finding out the future cost, considering what is the cost today, and how are you preparing financially to meet the higher education cost. How much do you need to save and invest every month? What are the advantages, drawbacks of different types of investments? So I'll be covering all those things. What Either would be having all these questions or few important questions out of this. So earning versus planning for child's education. Most of us earn. This has been my experience. Most of us earn decently in our profession. You know, but we fail miserably when it comes to money management. And this is a fact I am saying from the live experiences that I have undergone when I have surveyed different parents. Can we make our child's dream come true? Yes. Let's see how. What do we research? We research buying the latest mobile phones. We look at user reviews, online search. While when we buy a car, we go for a test drive. We look at auto reviews. You know, when we have to take a next vacation, we look at travel portals, TV shows, and if we have to put our child in a good school, university, we ask neighbors, other colleagues, and look at university ratings. So we do research on all those things, but we don't research on investment planning for child's education, and this is a fact. 99% of the people do not know how to, invest for a child's future. So this session would cover that. Okay. Some of the misconceptions that people have. This is the popular way that people have. I'll take a loan when I need funds and pay EMI. Why do I need to plan now? But the ideal way should be, I will ensure that I invest every month now rather than pay EMI later. Some people tell that, I have a great insurance policy, I have a child plan which will, secure my child's future. But the fact is, insurance policy is to cover risk, it's not an investment. Some people believe that, I have a real estate inherited, or I have, a couple of properties which I can sell. The fact is, real estate serves a different purpose. It's not a plan for financial goals. It's not a liquid asset. Some people tell that, my income from salary is enough that would help me to take care of this and I don't need to plan. So the fact is that you have to balance between your today and tomorrow and just make money work for you. So people follow this popular way. I would recommend that somebody should go with this ideal way. We'll talk more on this. What are some of the challenges for parents? And I have made this presentation very light to make you understand. It's very simple. I'm sure you'll be enjoying this. There are two challenges that we face. The first challenge is on inflation. The second challenge is on taxes. Let's understand what's inflation. Let's understand what's inflationary effect of money. So I'm giving a comparison from 2012 to 2021 and trying to explain what inflation is. I'm sure most of you know this. Assume that in 2012, you had 200 rupees with you, and for 200 rupees, you could buy this entire platter of pizza for 200 rupees. Okay. In 2014, for the same 200 rupees, you could buy only this pizza. In 2016, you could buy only half pizza. 2018, a quarter pizza, and now in 2021, with that same 200 rupees, you can buy only this pizza. You visit a mall, I'm sure with 200 rupees that you pay, you don't get more than this price. So what exactly I'm trying to convey, the same 200 rupee had a power to buy so much quantity of pizza, and today the same 200 rupees can buy only this pizza. So basically, we have an inflationary effect of money. The impact of inflation is cash depreciates over a period of time. Okay, let's understand a little more on inflation. There are some other lifestyle inflation also which kicks in. Um, 15, 20 years ago, we could have bought this kind of shoes, which would costed 500 rupees. Now we need this kind of shoes which cost about 3,000 rupees. 500% rise in cost. 50 rupees cinema theater 25 years ago before multiplexes came. Now we need a multiplex, minimum 250 rupees, 400% rise in cost. 15 years back, a family would just take a moped which would cost 50,000 rupees. Today, at least we need a basic car costing about 5 lakh rupees, 900% rise in cost. 50,000 rupees for a vacation, small vacation. Today we all look at world tour and destination vacation and all those things, and then that cost about that has increased by 9,000, 900%. If you see, if all this cost increases, will your child's education cost not increase? Yes, it will increase. This is a survey done by Economic Times, and a survey was done in 2011 and again in 2019. In 2011, what the survey told that for every age band of child, what could be the cost to raise the child? So if you have child between the age of 0 to 4, you needed about 4.6 lakh rupees in 2011. 2019, it costed about 8.35 lakh rupees. Similarly, age band between 9 to 12 years, you needed about 9.4 lakh. 2019, it costed about 16 lakh rupees. To 17 to 20, it costed about 21 lakhs. 2019, it cost about 42 lakh rupees. And if I put 2021 figures, this will cost somewhere around 50 lakhs. This will cost about 25 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 16 lakhs to 10 lakhs. If you see, as the child grows in age, progresses in age, the cost of raising the child also goes up. And this is a fact. And the second enemy that you all have is the taxation, the taxes. So some example. So let's say if your income is about 150 rupees and you may fall in a tax bracket of 33 percentage. Some of you could be in 5, some of you could be in 10, 20, some of you could be in 30. But at some point in time, you will always end up falling in the tax bracket of 33 percentage. So on a 150 rupees income, if you pay 33% taxes, what you get in hand is about 100 rupees. And post this 100 rupees, you end up paying a GST of about 18% on different goods and services that you buy. For any item that you buy, you normally end up paying a GST between 5% to about 18%. So post payment of GST, your real income that you get in hand is only about 85 rupees. So for an income that you put your efforts, which is about 150 rupees, what you can actually, what you end up having with you is only about 85 rupees. This is the second enemy that we have within ourselves, and that actually impacts a lot. So let's look at some other mistakes. So some other mistakes that parents make are starting investments very late. So I'll ask you a question: when is the right time to invest for your child? I keep asking this question, and people tell that child's first birthday. Some people tell that when the child turns 5 year old. Some people tell that when the child turns 17-year old, when he needs money after 1 or 2 years, something like that. But the fact, but but the fact is that my answer, if you ask me, my answer would be you need to start investing for your child the day you realize that you have to invest for his future. And the best time could be, I would tell, the best time could be the moment the mother is carrying. Start your investments. What best you can do for your child than investing right at that point in time. So let's look the impact of starting investments late. I have given an example of what happens if you delay your investments. I have taken four scenarios: a scenario where the baby is just born, a scenario where you start investing at first birthday of the baby. That means you're delaying by 1 year. A third scenario wherein you start investing 2 years after the baby is born. That's the third scenario. That's 2 years delay. And the final scenario where you end up delaying by 3 years when the baby completes his or her third birthday. Let's say you have a budget of about 10,000 rupees per month, and you know that child's higher education comes at his or her age of 20 years. Okay, so since you just started off early, you have about 240 months that you could invest. So if you're starting right the day when the child is born, so you have 240 months. So you could invest for 20 years, that's for 240 months. And assume that your investment pays you 12% average return per year. So you will be contributing about 24 lakh rupees. So that's about 10,000 rupees for 240 months, 24 lakh rupees. Now, this 24 lakh rupees would accumulate to about 99.99 lakh rupees at 12% return per annum. So you don't delay anything, so you don't lose anything. So this is scenario number one. Scenario number two, let's say for some reason you decide that I'll do it when my child's first birthday come up. Same investment of 10,000 rupees, but you have only 19 years of time because 1 year you have already delayed. So you only have 228 months in hand. So and we assume the same rate of return of 12%. Naturally, you will be investing little lesser amount because you only have 228 months. So 10,000 rupees into 228 months. So you end up accumulating about only 87 lakh rupees. And this is by 1 year delay. So loss, and here in this first case, you could have accumulated 99.9 lakh. Now you can accumulate only 87.53 lakh rupees. That means just by 1 year of delay, your child ends up losing about 12.44 lakh rupees. That's about 12.45% of wealth is lost just by delay by 1 year. Let's look at a third scenario when you delay child's education by 2 years. Same investment of 10,000 rupees. Now you have 216 months, that's 18 years because you have delayed for 2 years. Same rate of return 12%. You invest 10K into 248 months. 216 months. So you end up accumulating only about 76.54 lakh rupees. Because you have delayed by 2 years and the loss is about 23.43 lakh rupees. Percentage loss is about 23.4. Look at the last scenario. This is very interesting and mind-boggling. So same, you decide that I'll delay by 3 years, 10,000 rupees that you start. You have only 204 months in hand. So you get same 12% return. So you end up investing 20.4 lakhs, and you accumulate only about 66.79 lakh rupees. You have delayed by 3 years. Lost due to delay is about 33 lakh rupees. What it means is about 33% of the wealth, one third of the wealth is lost just by a 3 year delay. Just imagine if your child is 4 year, 5 year, 6 year, 8 year, 10 year old, What's the kind of opportunity cost that you have lost while accumulating for your child's education? So this is the biggest mistake that people make by starting late. Just 1 year late, 2 year late, you have all these numbers in front of your screen. See what kind of loss you will be having when you look over a period of 20 years. So my advice would be the moment you realize this, if you're going serious, let me move on. So what happens? Why did the delay? Why did the 33% wealth got lost? Let's understand this. Parents want maximum investment corpus to be built by giving minimum amount of time. Every person says that I can invest for a very small tenure, but I want maximum returns. Mathematically and in practically, this cannot happen. While investing, the fact is that while investing, you can control the time, but you can't control the return element. There is no investment which guarantees you X percentage of return for over a period of 10 year, 15 year, 20 year. So you don't have any investments which are guaranteed. The same percentage is guaranteed over a period of 15, 20 years. So returns are not in your control. But people try to chase returns ignoring the time element. Let's see what I mean by this. Basically, this is the wealth creation formula. Einstein called this as the eighth wonder of the world. What investors do is investors focus on returns. Hey, give me the product which gives me the highest return. I need the best return that I could do. What investors ignore is the factor of T, that's time. If you notice in this power of compounding formula, everything is raised to the power of T. So T is a multiple. More T, more returns, more time and more returns. This is what it is all about. When you saw in the previous slide, when you saw that there was 33% delay, that was because the time given was only about 17 years, and hence because of this, you lost 33% of it. So this is what power of compounding plays in. Another mistake that people make is wrong investment choices. The fact is that people add insurance plus investment, and then they say that I have completed my child's education. Think that let me put this fact that if you wish to plan for your child's education, it is not necessary that you have to invest in a scheme or a policy that includes the word child. So you have all these child plans, child suraksha, smart kid, all those plans are there, but honestly those plans are not really relevant when it comes to child's education. Why? Let me tell you this. Insurance and investments are two separate concepts. The moment you club those two products together, your return comes down. Imagine, tying your left leg lace with your right, leg shoelace. If you tie that, what happens? If I ask you to walk, you can't walk because why? One is holding the other one is holding the first one. So you can't run, you can't walk. It becomes a disadvantage by itself. Because of this, you can't run fast, you can't walk. The same way, if you mix insurance and investments together and buy a child policy or buy any kind of a product which has a mix of equity, which has a mix of insurance plus investment, your return comes down. This is another mistake which parents make. This is one of the wrong choices people. Mistake number 3, depending on education loans. So let me just show you what own arrangements do and what arrangement from bank loan do. For some time, just focus on this particular chart, this particular part. You assume that you have to accumulate 1 crore rupees for your child, and you have 15 years from now. Assume that your child is about 3 years and you have about 15 years. You assume 12% rate of return. You need to save monthly 20,600 rupees per month to accumulate 1 crore. So what you end up investing is about 20,600 into 180 months. Just excuse me. So you end up accumulating about you end up accumulating about 1 crore rupees for an investment of 37 lakh rupees. So you earn about 66 lakh rupees. But if you take a loan from a bank, assume that the cost of education is 1 crore in the future, and you take 15-year loan. assume that bank charges an interest rate of 12%. Your monthly EMI would be about 1,25,000 rupees. Total EMI that you pay is about 1,25,000 into 180 months. That's about, you end up paying about 2 crore and 25 lakh rupees. So total interest paid is about 1 crore and 21 lakh rupees. The third mistake that people say is that, education loans are there from offering from the bank. Let me do it. Let's not make that mistake. So the difference is, depending on your own loans and from loans from financial institutions, is in your own arrangement you earn interest on your investments, whereas loan from a financial institution is that you pay interest on your borrowings. You don't mortgage an asset here, you end up mortgaging an asset if you take a loan. Small investments, when well pulled together, compound to a big number. But here you need to have huge EMIs that need to be repaid for the borrowed money. You don't burden yourself with debt, you are burdened with a debt trap. No costs are involved when you invest. You have mandatory charges like processing fee, legal fee, and other charges to the bank. You benefit from the power of compounding if you do own investment. If you don't pay EMI on time, you end up paying compound interest. You have a peace of mind, you have stress due to anxiety. So this is the difference between doing your own arrangement and taking loan from a financial institution. So never ever look at loan from banks. Look at doing your own arrangements. When I say own arrangement, start planning it right now. Other mistake that people make is following herd mentality when it comes to child's education. So if you look at this picture, there's a small gate here, and one sheep had passed through this gate, and all the sheep wants to pass through this gate, and there is no fence here, there is no fence here, because one sheep decided to come through this route. All the sheep wants to take the same route. What exactly? The sheep. What exactly? This is called as herd mentality. That means we as humans, we end up asking different people, what are you doing, what are you doing, then we go and doing the same mistake, what, or we take up the same steps what our peer group or our friends, family members, our friends and other relatives are doing. My suggestion would be, do not follow the crowd. Your child's education, you know the best. With your financial advisor, you should be taking those steps. So mistakes like giving some lame excuses, like there are some other mistakes like, let us start from next financial year. Most people have the habit of saying that, April se shuru karenge. No. Our last vacation are on EMI, let me do it after that. We need to paint the house, the next iPhone model will launch. I need to ask my CA. I need to upgrade my car first. Let me get a promotion. The time is not right, inauspicious. My business needs funds. I can somehow manage. I don't have time. I have a companion called credit card. I will inherit some assets. These are some of the excuses that people make, and we have seen all these excuses will ultimately go and cost you, or it will end up burdening loan for your child. So we all have some commitments like car loan EMI, housing loan EMI, credit card bill, grocery bill, maid, cook. But the fact is, let me ask you a question: where is your child's investments? The moment you get your salary, all these things hits up. I mean, they just start something like these things end up taking away money from you. But if you prioritize on these things, your child's investments is not being done. Prioritize your child's education planning first, and then look at all those things later. This is my message to you. Other mistakes that people do is that parents do is they focus on very few asset class. Somebody focus only on FDs, somebody focus only on real estate, somebody focus only on gold. No, the right way should be, it should be need-based asset allocation. Some people do irregular investments. They do something in January, then they don't do for 2 months, then again they do something in April, then they don't do for 3-4 months. I suggested every month you should be doing your investments. People do ad hoc investments. I suggest you define, understand your financial goal and do a goal-based investments. What I mean by this is, if you have 2 daughters, make sure that you identify those 2 financial goals in your life and start investing accordingly. People do investment only for tax purpose, but the right way is, tax purpose should not be the core purpose of your investing. The core purpose is, to cover up your financial goals. No budget in place for expenses. You should create a budget and you should track your expenses. People don't save for a rainy day. We know what happened in March, April, May when Corona hit. People did not save for the rainy day. But ideally, you should effectively save for a rainy day by having some emergency fund. No disciplined savings program. You should design a disciplined savings program. mistakes that people do is, investing in a life insurance. No, you should buy a life insurance policy. Life insurance is not for investment. Other thing that people do, start investing at later stage, start early and start now. I keep repeating the start early, start now, because I know the importance of starting late. Small tips that you all should know. Apply the 80-20 principle. We all know that there's a concept called Pareto principle, wherein it says that 80% of the things come from the 20%. So, for example, 80% of sales come from 20% of the customers. Your top 20 customers give you 80% sale. 80% of the income tax in any country is paid by 20% of taxpayers. In sports team, 80% of the win is contributed by 20% of the players. When you're doing a child's education, it can be applied here as well. I'll show you how. If you invest 20%, if your child is young, if you're investing only about 20% and give enough time for compounding, 80% of the returns will come from 20% of the principal. And this is a fact. Unfortunately, people start late, they end up contributing only 20%, and rest 80% they end up taking it back. Some of the smart tips that you all should know is that the moment you get a salary, you should create an envelope habit. Let's say your salary is 100 rupees. Let's say your salary is about 100 rupees. You should dedicate some amount of money for child's school fees, some for higher education, and some for if you decide to have, and fund for child's marriage also. The moment you do this, automatically it creates a behavior habit that the moment my salary comes or my income comes from my profession, I need to go and do these particular things. These are all behavioral things which, if we implement in our own systems, naturally these are some of these financial goals that you have gets met. Smart tips. Okay. Smart tips to some of the smart tips that I wanted to tell is that understand the rule of 33, 33, 33. What do I mean by this is, I'm not able to share the screen. Investment should be equal or higher than 33% of your take home income. This is very important, that if you have an income of about, let's say 100 rupees, 33% should be your minimum savings. Your EMI should not cross 33% of your income. And your expenses plus EMI should not cross 66% of your take home income. This is very, very important. Most of the people tell that, I have a large EMI in place, I can't fund for my child's education, I can't look at my retirement. Or people tell that I have created large amount of expenses that I need to take care of it. But the fact is that if you prioritize by doing your first outflow as savings and investments, and if that is 33%, naturally this could be controlled. But if you tell that no, I will be earning my 100 rupees and then I'll be taking care of my EMI first, and any residual I am going to invest, then certainly over a period of time you will be accumulating a very small amount. This is one of the smartest tip that every individual can understand and follow this. Some other tips: understand risk versus return. While investing, one needs to balance between safety and returns. You can't put all your money for safety and lose out on returns. You can't put all your money on risk and lose out on the safety. The way I would try to classify in this matrix is, for any short-term needs, you should put your money for safety. For example, if you have to pay your child's school fees in, let's say, May 2021, when you have to pay your child's school fees, that money should be invested only in safer avenues like bank FD or liquid funds of a mutual fund. But if you have a long-term need, then you should shun this. Then you need to look at earning better returns. Then you need to invest in a different product which will have to beat inflation over a period of time. Let's understand this very clearly. Short-term needs, but unfortunately what people do is they try to interchange this. For short-term, for long-term needs, they end up doing a fixed deposit for 5-year, 10-year, 15-year. But for short-term needs, they try to play with stock markets and try to earn about a few percentage return extra. That's the worst thing that anybody could do and I could think of. So let's understand. You have to understand what is, you have to understand and clearly define between risk and returns and do your investments accordingly. Some other smart tips and investment options that you should know. These are some of the investment options that you could think of: real estate, commodities, art, equities, fixed income, investing in other business. With all these things, the portion which is marked in red, according to me, these are the two asset classes that you should be looking to invest when it comes to child's education. Let's I would suggest do not look at all these asset class for your child's education. These are the two popular asset classes which are financial assets which works the best for your child depending on the time horizon that you have. A small example of how power of compounding works. So let's say I have two scenarios for you. First scenario, I tell you that I'll pay you 1 crore, 1 crore, 1 crore, 1 crore every day, and for 30 days I'm going to pay about 30 crore rupees. This is scenario number one, wherein you get guaranteed 1 crore, 1 crore, 1 crore, and for 30 days you end up receiving 30 crores. That is scenario number one. Scenario number two, wherein you start with 1 rupee and double this every day: 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512, like this. Given a scenario, given a choice, which option would you like to take, or which option would you like to exercise? I have some people who tell that I'm going to take about 30 crore rupees, it's guaranteed for me. Some people tell that no, I'm going to take this option wherein it doubles every day. So whatever it accumulates at the end of 30 days will be mine. If I have to show you what is higher, the second scenario or the first scenario, let's look at this. If you start putting 1 rupee and then double it every day, and this is how the number comes, till the day of 25, the first option gave you about 25 crore rupees. Second option, if you add 1.6 crore plus 83 lakhs plus 43 lakh rupees, if you add all those things, it will not be more than 3 crore rupees. But the real number compounding comes in these days. If you look what compounds here: 3 crores, 6 crore, 13 crore, 26 crore, 53 crore rupees. So in the second scenario, just by starting 1 rupee, and if you keep doubling, at the end of 30 days, you accumulate about 107 crore rupees. Whereas in the first scenario, you could accumulate only 30 crore rupees. What I'm trying to tell is that to invest for your child's education, you need not have a bigger corpus today. You don't be in under the myth that only if I have about 5 lakh, 10 lakh, only then I can invest. No, a small investment of 10,000, 5,000, 1,000, 2,000 rupees can give you bigger results over a period of time due to the power of compounding. Okay, then let's understand what's the power of equity investing. So some examples of what wealth equity have created. I am from Bangalore, so I'm using 3 Bangalore-based companies. This could be very interesting for you. If you had invested about 10,000 rupees in Wipro in 1980, the value is more than 800 crores today. Yes, 10,000 rupees invested in 1980 is about 800 crore rupees today. Infosys, an investment of 10,000 rupees in 1993 is valued about 5 crore rupees today. TCS, an investment of about 10,000 rupees in 2004 is about 2 lakh rupees today. All these are Bangalore-based companies, so I'm just taking this example. So what I'm trying to tell is that if you have 10, 15 years for your child's education, assume that if your child is about 3-year or 4-year old and you know that you have 10, 12 years of time left to plan for your child's education, look at equity investing as an option and create wealth. Now, when it comes to equity investing, you have two choices. You can invest in shares or you can invest through mutual funds. But the fact is, if you have to invest in shares, you need to understand who is the next Wipro, who is the next Infosys, who is the next TCS. And we all know that we can't really go and do some research, put our time, efforts, money, and do some research on identifying the next Wipro, Infosys, or TCS. But there's a different route. The route is called as mutual funds. So what mutual fund does is that they are going to identify, the right the right companies which they are going to invest, and they are going to diversify your money into different sectors. If you look at this snap, so this has an example wherein a single mutual fund, it gets diversified into banks, cement, finance, pharma, petrol, software, power. So your 100 rupees gets divided across various companies in different percentages. And when all these companies, create wealth, ultimately it goes and creates wealth for you when you go and invest through this mutual fund route. I believe this is the most powerful way of planning for your child's education. And if you have about 10-15 years of, or even 7 years plus of time, then this is the best thing that I think you could do for your child's education, investing in mutual funds. Result of investing in right asset classes. So I give you an example of mutual funds, and you have another option like, let's say, fixed deposit. So what happens? Assume that the cost of higher education is about 25 lakh rupees today, 25 lakh rupees today, and inflation is about 10%, and your child is 2 years old. So 16 years from now, when your child turns 18, you need money, because after 18, the child needs money for higher education. So cost of education after 16 years, whose current cost is about 25 lakh rupees, will become 1 crore and 15 lakh rupees due to inflation. Now you have two choices. One choice, a choice of investing that beats inflation. So let's say how this works. So let's say you decide that you can invest about 20,000 rupees per month, and assume that it gives about 12% return, and you have 16 years, that's about 192 months. You accumulate about 1 crore and 16 lakh rupees by investing in a product which delivers about 12% return, and this is 2% above inflation. And another choice you have that doesn't beat inflation. Let's say you invest about 20,000 rupees a month, and you look for any government scheme or any product which delivers you about 8% return, which is about 2% lesser than inflation. What is inflation? The cost of your child's expenses going up. So that is going up by 10% every year. And you decide that, no, I'll be investing in a product which gives me 8%. So you don't beat inflation by 2%. And same tenure you invest for 192 months, you end up accumulating about 78 lakh rupees. Whereas here, you end up accumulating more than what you require. So what I need to tell you is that you need to invest in right asset class to create wealth for your child's higher education. And one of the right asset classes, equities. We have seen the power of equities creating wealth over a period of 10, 15, 20 years, and even more than that. And so now some options wherein you all must be having children, and then these children, I have categorized these children into two brackets. So age below 10 and child's age above 10. So if you have a child age below 10, what you need to do, these are some of the baby steps. You need to discover your risk profile and understand what kind of risk you should take on you should be taking on your investments. It should be done through an advisor. Dr. Celso would be the right person, I would tell, through an advisor, and its objective is to find out how much to invest in volatile asset, how much to invest in fixed assets. That is done through risk profiling. And once discussion finalized, for every 100 rupees that you invest in that fixed ratio. Let's say you decide that you invest 70% in equity, 30% in bonds. Every 100 rupees that you invest, divide in this particular asset. And once you do this, for example, if your risk profile says this, as I told you, and once you do this, start investing in the above manner. So that is what you need to do if your child is age below 10, because if your child is below age 10, then you have about 7 to 10 years till the time the child turns 18-year-old, when the child requires money for his higher education. So you have enough time, so you can afford to be in volatile asset class and create wealth. I mean, I should just give the example of Infosys, Wipro, and TCS. Investment options, if your child is aged about 10. Now, there could be a scenario where you could have one child who is about 12-year-old, one child who is about 8-year-old. So what are the investment options that you have as a child, as a parent for a child who is about 10 years old? In this age category, you need to invest having decent exposure to bonds also, apart from equities, because your time frame is just about 5 to 7 years. because when the child turns 18, he needs money. So you need to have decent exposure in bonds apart from equities. You can't just shun away bonds. You need to have bonds apart from the equity portion. As the child progresses in age, keep moving funds from equities to debt. Let's at the age of 15, you rebalance your portfolio by taking out money from equities and putting in debt. At the age of 16, do again. At the child's age of 17, do again. At the age of 18, move out completely from equities and put it in debt. Most probably, you need the funds when the child is 18-year-old. At the age of 17, you should be 80 to 90% in bonds and 10 to 20% in equities. And by doing this, whatever market conditions are when your child turns 18, you don't have to worry at all. And this is my practical experience. We have seen clients, utilizing this option and doing great child's investment plan. Some other ideas as well. So this is some out of the box ideas which I could think of. Develop a hobby for your child. Encourage him to learn musical instruments. Make sure that your child learns a sport. Allow your child to learn naturally through life experience. While your child is in class 11, take vacations in the university where you wish to send him for higher education. This way you utilize your money on vacation, as well as your child will get a feel of the university that he's going to attend. Why I'm talking all those things is today as we speak, if you have to send your child to the Ivy League college like Harvard, Stanford, Oxford universities, or IIMs in India, all that universities look is that how is the overall development of your child? Is he only academically strong, or does he have something beyond academics as well? So as a parent, you are doing your homework by investing. But apart from that, this is my experience. Out of my experience, I'm saying that your child should be knowing all these things because these all contribute to the admission towards the college. So my point is, having money doesn't make your child a better person. You need to use it wisely to create great experience and memories for children. So how to plan when you decide to send your child abroad for studies? So some of you might be desiring to send your child, to US, UK, or Australia, or Canada, or any country that could you think of. So when you have to do that, you need to plan something differently. If you're planning to send your child abroad, you need to have US dollar denominated investments. I'll tell you why this is. So when I repeat this, if you plan to send your child abroad, you need to have US dollar denominated investments. Dollar denominated investments means your investments are working in dollars and not in rupees. In the long run, dollar takes care of currency fluctuation risk. We have seen that in India in 1948, $1 was equal to 1 rupee. Today, as we talk in 2021, $1 is equal to about 73 rupees. So dollar appreciates and rupee depreciates. So when you have to make your payments in dollars when your child turns 18 and you want to take education abroad, you have to remit money in dollars. So why not do an investment in dollars now and make sure that you take care of the currency fluctuation risk? In case your child decides not to take up higher studies, it's still an investment that you could have with some diversification. So options to invest abroad, what are the two options? The first is fund of fund through mutual funds. So here what happens, one mutual fund collects money in rupees and converts them in dollars and invest in another mutual fund which is managed abroad. Let's say there is one fund in India called Fund House A. You invest in this Fund House A. This Fund House goes and invest in Fund B, which is located in, let's say, US or UK or any other country. So you invest in this Fund A. This Fund A goes and invest in Fund B, and this Fund B works in dollars. So naturally, when you have to remit your money back, you end up getting all the appreciation that could come from dollars, and that is a good hedge against dollar appreciating in the long term. There's another option. It's called as dollar denominated investment through LRS route of RBI. Here, every investor can remit up to $2.5 lakh abroad. You can choose any investment outside India and transfer the money and make investment. Let's say you directly want to invest in US mutual fund scheme or a US stock. So you can do an investment up to 2.5 lakh dollars. You can send per year abroad, and you can go and make an investment. But if you ask me personally, I would suggest that take this route. This is a much more simpler route, has lesser compliance issues and lesser hassles. And if the objective of if the objective is to create wealth, take a simpler route rather than taking this complex route. The final part of my presentation, what are the steps to kickstart your child's education? The first step is that you need to start cleaning your existing mess. So you could be having a lot of investments which were missold to you, or some of the wrong investments that you could have already done. The first thing is that you need to get out of all those investments wherever that you could, wherever it is possible, and clean all those investment mess that you have created in the past. So if you don't do that, then what happens is that your investments end up having a square wheel. So imagine a vehicle or a cart having a square wheel. The speed of the cart reduces. The same way, if your investments are like square wheels, they will not deliver better returns for you. So clear out all those investment mess that you have already created, because I have given you a lot of examples of where you need to invest and what investments you need to avoid. Second step is ladder your outstanding loans. Some of you could be having some loans, and these loans could be charging higher interest. Example, if you have loans which charges you 15%, 12%, 10%, clear that loan first which charges higher interest. Then the other thing that we need to remember is that higher EMI is not equal to higher interest. You could have a housing loan worth 6.5%, and that EMI could be the highest across your 3-4 EMIs. Not necessary that the larger EMI should be cleared first. According to me, the loan which charges the highest interest has to be cleared first. And a home loan, as I told, a home loan might be higher, but it could charge lower interest. So reduce your loans by reducing the loans which has the highest interest. So the next step is that clear your outstanding loans. Then understand this golden pyramid. This is very important. For this is not from child's education point of view, but your overall financial planning point of view. You first need to have a financial plan in place. And if you notice, this occupies the base of the pyramid. You should be clearly knowing how you will be progressing in your financial life. This is something like if you have an vacant site, then you have a blueprint of that building that you're going to construct, right? Same way, you need to be having a blueprint of your financials. Then you should be covering your life insurance, covering yourself through life insurance, have a disability and health insurance, write will and do a power of attorney. This is the second step, because these are all uncontrollable events in your life. You can't control these events. You can't tell that I'm not going to die tomorrow. You can't tell that I'm going to remain fit forever. So these are all uncontrollable events. You need to have a risk management strategy for these uncontrollable events. Then you plan your priorities. You could be having all these priorities like home, debt reduction, buying a home, debt reduction, education and savings, retirement, personal savings. Across all these things, you should be having priority. You could tell that, this is my priority 1, priority 2, priority 3, priority 4, priority 5. You should prioritize this. And based on these priorities, you should be investing these assets according to these priorities. This is the right way that every person or every family, every household should structure their finance. Unfortunately, people don't do this. They look at chasing, give me the product which gives me the highest returns. No, you need to have this kind of strategy in place. And this is your step number 3. Step number 4 is fulfill your child's, once you have done your blueprint, then fulfill your child's education. Ensure that you are adequately insured to a term insurance. Prepare for emergencies. Understand your risk time horizon, how much time you have for your child's education. Estimate the cost of education. Assess your existing assets and risk profile. Know the amount that you need to save every month to reach your goal. This is your step number 4. Then let's do a small calculation. Let's do a small calculation. I am just going to share another screen to you. This is quite interesting. So let's say the cost of your child's education is about 15 lakh rupees today. You decide that you want to send your child for an engineering course at IIT, Kharagpur, and then that cost about 15 lakh rupees today. And assume that your child is 8-year-old, so you have another 10 years from now. So if your child is about 8 years, then you have another 10 years. Assume that you have 10%. You assume that the cost of this IIT Kharagpur will increase by 10% every year. So the future cost, that means when your child turns 18, this will cost you about 38.9 lakh rupees. So what is costing 15 lakh rupees today in 2021 will cost you 38.9 lakh in 2031, 10 years. So the next option is, what do you do to accumulate 38.9 lakh rupees? You should be doing if you decide to do a fixed saving every month, then you need to do a monthly investment of about 32,422 rupees per month. This at 12% return should grow to about 38.9 lakhs. Assume that you don't have this money or you have other commitments, you can invest about 20,343 and increase it by 10% every year. So 20,343 into 12. Then next year you increase it by another 10% on 20,343. Like this, you keep increasing. That's another option of doing that. So what I'm trying to, this is a live example I'm showing you. The cost of today could be costing you this, and this is how you need to start, calculating and saving for your child's education. Let me again share back my screen. So sorry. Just give me 1 minute. I'm just stuck on the screen. Okay, Dr. Seltzer, do we have any questions now or shall we take it later?
We can take it later still, because there are just one question as of now which has come. There'll be coming more.
Okay, I don't have much. So my screen is just struck 1 minute. I'm just trying to resolve this. Give me just 30 seconds. I'll just resolve this. Yeah, I'm back. Yeah. So the next step from there is that you need to start ring fencing your investments. So when I say this, what do I mean by this is that, if you're in business, you all know that, there could be some creditors on your business and there could be some liabilities. If you take a term insurance, you need to exercise an MWP Act, which talks about Married Women Property Act. Then the next thing that you should be doing is that in case if you feel that your assets are large, then you can create a private trust and make your child a beneficiary of those trusts. So this is one type of ring fencing that you could think of. And the next one is ring fence against physical ability to take investment decisions. What happens suddenly? I have seen a scenario wherein a person suddenly went into coma and he can't take any investment decisions. Neither you are alive nor you are dead, or mentally you are not able to do any investments. What do? So then at that point in time, you write a power of attorney wherein you mention that in case you get incapacitated, you give that power of attorney to your wife, your spouse, or to any other family members, so that they can take investment decisions for your children. Another way of ring fencing your family future is that ring fence against loss of life by having a term insurance. Ring fence when both parents of the child passes away. I have seen a scenario where both parents pass away and the child is a minor. So what do? You need to write a will, appoint a guardian for your minor child, and make sure that you have written all those things in your will and preserve all the documents carefully. some of the this is one of the steps that I strongly recommend, that every family should be having this kind of an emergency kit. So you should be having the important people whom you deal professionally. You could be a financial planner, your lawyer, CA, real estate agent, office HR, stockbroker, insurance agent. Two people to contact during emergency. Their name, their phone number, their email ID. You should have this kind of a template with you, placed with you, so that in case of any emergency, your family can reach the right person and get continue a professional relationship and help you to overcome all those financial or other stress that they could have in your absence. Another important template that I tell is that you need to have this template wherein all these documents you need to write your document number, your PAN card number, you write this passport number, driving license, voter ID card, all those things you have to write here. Physically, where have you placed this document in your house, and a soft copy in which laptop drive you have, which drive of your laptop you have placed. This is very important. If a husband passes away, I have seen the wife is clueless. She doesn't know what the investment the husband has done, where have they done, what are the insurance policies. Having this document in place could always help you. You could, since you're having this recording, when you could take a screenshot of this and just create the same thing on an Excel template and have this. Then next step 6 is choices you can make when you are financially unprepared. There could be a scenario wherein you are unprepared. So what do you do now? So I would say that consider selling some jewelry, consider an education loan, that's the last option. Consider applying for a scholarship if you are eligible. These are the last mile option. Tip: do not use your retirement fund for child education. This is my advice. And the final step, action to be taken after child's education is completed. If you have taken any small loan, just close off that. Keep a track of your investments for your other goals like your retirement, your second child's education expense, and things like that. And to summarize, so this is my last slide. To summarize, start planning early. Be realistic about the cost. We have seen how the cost have gone up. Instill good financial habits in yourself and your children. Invest in a range of skills for your child. Take a term insurance and a health insurance for your family. Protect yourself from disability insurance. Invest first, spend later. Think long term and invest for long term. Have a financial advisor, the most important thing. And with this, I end my presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Deepesh. It was a really, really interesting and awesome presentation. In fact, the way you explained each and every step, we got lot of comments wherein everybody said it is very easy to understand. The explanation, the steps that you have given is too good. There is only one question which has come as of now, and they'll start asking now. What is the difference between investing versus buying an insurance plan as far as child's education is concerned? Because nowadays many people invest in child education plans. So they want to know what is the difference between investing and buying an insurance plan.
See, the concept of insurance is like making good of losses. The loss could be a financial loss, whereas the concept of investing is making your money grow. Both are completely opposite. I'll give you an example. We all have vehicles, car. So for a car worth 10 lakh rupees, you pay a premium of about 10,000 rupees per year. Do you end up what if the insurance company comes and gives you a proposal that don't pay me 10,000 rupees as premium, pay me 50,000 rupees. I'm going to cover your car for about 10 lakh rupees. And if the car doesn't get damaged, I'm going to return some money back to you. Then you tell the insurance company that I'm going to pay only the premium, and the investment I'll take care of my own. I have mutual funds, I have life, I have PPF, I have other instruments which I can invest on my own. So you don't club your investments and insurance when it comes to car insurance. The same way, when it comes to your life insurance, you shouldn't be clubbing your investments and insurance, because insurance is for protection, investment is for creating wealth.
Yeah. Yes. No, because the thing is, even in my experience, this I will be sharing you with since I'm also handling the large number of clients. most of the people actually are not aware that even in some of the child insurance plans, it is the child who is insured and not the parent.
Parents. Yes.
Because this is one very, very critical point which I have noticed in many child insurance plans where the life to be insured, the child's name is there.
Yes.
So actually imagine if by chance the child dies, who wants the money back? It is the parent who needs the insurance.
Yes.
But unfortunately, the person life insured can be seen, and this is one very big mistake which I've noticed in the life insurance industry, because many people buy insurance as an investment. So this is one big. But the way you have explained, especially today, my takeaway from this program is actually the cost of delay. That thing, like how you say, even you delay by 1, 2, or 3 years, the cost of delay comes to almost 33%. That is one very, very strong point which I would like to stress on, because that is the thing which I really picked up from today's presentation. And of course, planning for the child's education is definitely a very, very critical this. In fact, I was just doing a small summary like today morning. Imagine, because we had one case like this is a live case wherein the child got admission in in pharmacy college in Goa only, and through the quota, the management quota, and through the management quota they had to pay directly 3 lakh rupees first, and then the fees are going to be like now 2 lakhs per year for the next 4 years. So I was just calculating, if suppose we take a 10 lakh education loan, the EMI for this is working out to exactly around 27,000 rupees per month. But instead of that, imagine 5 years back you had to start an SIP to gain 10 lakh rupees. The EMI for 10 years, if in case you start, is somewhere around 12,000 per month at the rate of 12%. Now you start 10 years before that, the EMI, the SIP comes to 3,000 per month. Now imagine 27, now it's come to 3. And if you plan 15 years in advance, your EMI or SIP comes to 1,000 rupees a month to get 10 lakhs at the time of education time required. So just imagine taking a loan, EMI is 27,000. If you plan 5 years ahead, your SIP is around 12,000. If you plan 10 years ahead, your SIP is 3,000 rupees. And if you plan 15 years ahead, it is 1,000 rupees to get 10 lakhs after that period when the education is. So you can see the amount of difference that it makes, because this is what I got a live example today morning. So I said, I wish I had to start an SIP of 1,000 15 years back, so that at least now I can start increasing and instead or avoid as far as possible loans are concerned. So to create this awareness of the benefits of starting early, I thought that you would be the best person to actually speak to our parents and the participants today. And definitely many will be watching this YouTube video after this session, because many were not able to join in, but we had quite a good attendance. So if in case there is one more question which has come, I'm just checking. Okay, is more interested regarding the dollar denominated investment through mutual funds and the LRS of RBI. If you can just stress a little bit more on these.
Yes, yes. So you have two options to get your investments done in dollar denomination. The first option is mutual fund of fund. So here what happens is you invest in an Indian mutual fund, and then this Indian mutual fund goes and invest in foreign mutual fund. So you, let's say you invest 1 lakh rupees in Indian mutual fund. The Indian mutual fund converts this 1 lakh in dollars, and then it goes and invest those many dollars in a foreign mutual fund. And then the foreign mutual fund invest in different companies like Amazon, Facebook, Tesla, and all those things depending on the scheme's investment objective and the category of the scheme. And then the investment happens. And again, when you need your money back, so what happens is that since your investments are converted from rupees to dollar, when the dollar appreciates, naturally your NAV or your investments also increases over a period of time. So tomorrow in future, if you have to, pay your son's education in dollars, so you don't have to worry on the risk of dollar going up, because your investment itself are done through in the form of dollar denomination. So you invest in rupees, the fund converts this rupee into dollars, and it's very simple. And as you buy any Indian mutual fund scheme, this is Dr. Selso, knows all those things. So you'll be that fund would be investing in dollars, as simple as that. The second option is LRS scheme. Now, what does RBI does is RBI allows every Indian citizen to invest about $2.5 lakh abroad. That is roughly around 1.8 crore rupees. So maximum per year. So any person can invest about 2.5 lakh dollars abroad. So let's say you decide to buy a property in UK, London, and then that property cost about 1 crore rupees or 2 crore rupees. Then up to 1.8 crore rupees you can invest per year through this LRS route. And this investment, that this money that you remit outside India could be done for any purpose. It could be taking care of a family member outside India. It could be buying a property. It could be investing in any financial assets for child's education or any other purpose. It could be, nobody questions you. It is routed through your bank and it gets done. So this is the second option. But however, to keep it simple, if you really want dollar denominated investments, you should be looking at mutual fund of fund route rather than LRS route. LRS route works when people want to buy real estate outside India. Yeah.
Yes, there is another question, like how do you find out which are the Indian mutual funds which invest in foreign mutual funds? It is actually very simple. Just go on Google. You can just ask Google. Google will tell you the answers. Actually, there are many funds, but I know at least 5-6 funds of those. But if you really want this, you can just ask Google which mutual funds invest in dollars. Immediately, Google will give you the answers.
So Google could give the option, but my take is that investing outside India has multiple choices. There could be a fund which invest only in technology companies in US.
That's true.
There could be fund which is geographically limited to one place. Like there could be a fund which invest only in US. There could be a fund which invest only in Europe, one only in China. So Google will just throw you a list of 10 to 15 schemes which are invested outside India. But if you really want to get a sense of which type of mutual fund you should be investing in, then I think somebody should handhold you and tell you that these are the right investments, that these are the investment that you should be holding, these are the investment you should not be holding. For example, investment done in Europe since 2014 is still negative today because Brexit happened and because of that pound came down. So Google can only tell you these are the 10 mutual fund schemes, but a financial advisor or a right person can tell you where to avoid and where to invest.
That is true. In fact, this is what exactly the knowledge that you have shared today has definitely opened the eyes now of many of our parents. I'm 100% sure that they have convinced that yes, now as far as planning for the child's education is concerned, it is always better that you plan early so that you get higher returns and the higher the power of compounding. So a very, very big thank you to you, Deepesh, for sharing your valuable knowledge with us. And as a friend, thanks a lot for coming and sharing your ideas. Definitely, I'm also able to reciprocate and say that, yes, we can do a lot of joint programs and collaboration as far as like Bangalore and Goa is concerned. Definitely.
Sure.
And thanks a lot for sparing your time and valuable knowledge.
Thank you.
So on behalf of Navemarg Foundation, as well as all our participants for today's session, everybody has said, yes, it has been a great learning today. You can see on the comment box, they're coming and it will still keep coming on the this. Everybody's appreciating your session. Was very simple. From my side, I found it, yes, it was very simple. And the way you explained the formulas and especially the steps on what are the things to avoid as far as thinking about child's education is concerned was terrific. So thank you and have a great evening today night.
Thank you. Thank you. I just wanted to share.
That's what I forgot to share the book. Even I'm holding it here. I also can share the book because I have read it. And if anybody wants a copy of this book, it is freely available on Amazon. And on Amazon, I had picked up this book exactly that time. It's almost a year back when I first met you. And since I found it very interesting, I would request if anybody is interested in really reading the book, you can go on Amazon or even on Flipkart. It is available. And the cost is how much? I forgot. It's somewhere around exactly 500 rupees. The cost of it on Amazon. So you can pick up a copy from Amazon. It will definitely reach you and it will help you a lot. Yeah, this is one thing I'd forgotten about it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you and have a great evening.
Thank you. Thank you, friends.
Thank you.
Stay safe. Thank you, Dr. Selso, for inviting me.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.